Hey everyone, it's SimiSarah here. Today I am building a modern base game home. There will be no DLCs or expansion packs or anything like that. I have found that the most success for downloads, it seems, or the most commonly requested for the gallery seem to be the base game homes, and I can only assume that that's probably due to the fact that not everybody owns all of the packs. So it's easier to take a very like vanilla and easy build and then add the different types of things that you would want to add from the packs that you do own. So I really wanted to go for a modern look though, and which was pretty hard to do with using only the base game. The base game is just so tailored to almost, I would say, just like a non-specific themed version, or maybe even if you would say there's a theme, maybe I would say the theme would be more like vintage. So the modern look was a little tricky to get, but using platforms and these very simple and clean looking windows, I think we pulled it off in the end to get a really nice look. This also happened to be my first build since they released the new holiday packs with the brand new aprons and the little, there's some new foods and things like that. And I absolutely am obsessed, specifically with the aprons. So cute, really good swatches. I also like the glass container that has like a fruit cake or some sort of maybe bread, and super adorable as well. Really nice textures, really nice looks to them, and I'm really thankful that they're part of the base game because that adds a little bit more clutter, because that's usually one of the most challenging things for me for the base game is just there's not that much clutter to add. I think Dream Home Decorator and Cottage Living that has been released this year have been like some of the biggest packs with clutter. And I don't know, maybe that's because the Sims team really listened to some of the desires. I'm not really sure, but it's hard to do without. So in some ways, I count this almost as a challenge to create a nice looking home with just using the base game. It's so frustrating when you think of something that you absolutely would love to place in a specific spot and realize that it's not usable because you're trying to only use base game. So like I was thinking of some like end tables as I was going, and couches specifically. Oh, I hate the base game couches so much because there's just not a lot of texture and the swatches are pretty boring too. But anyways, this home is built in Willow Creek right on the river, so it's a really nice place for fishing if that's something your sim is into. Also, this is a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Probably could constitute as a tiny home, but I guess I didn't count the tiles because that wasn't really the goal I was going for. But you got a really nice, cute kitchen area, a nice large bedroom and a living room, and then a big bathroom as well. And in this build, I wanted to kind of use a couple of different building hacks that I've learned recently. So one of them was to shrink down the dishwasher inside of the cabinets and then be able to place like garbage cans underneath the counter. So I did that in the bathroom, and then I actually was just playing around and found some cute, really debug items, which I'll talk a little bit more about when we get there. But one thing that I like to do sometimes when we have this like little walkway area, I didn't want the tiles to be full, so I hit Control F if you haven't learned that, and it creates a half tile to make so that you're not getting a full square, and instead you can get like a triangle piece. In the living room here, I found this fireplace, not my favorite because it just is so, it doesn't have a lot of texture, but it's a base game one, so it works. And I really wanted to use like counters or something to create this really nice storage, and almost like a built-in cabinetry, but they stuck out so much onto the exterior. And I know, of course, like a workaround would be to clutter up the outside wall with like vines and things like that. But I really like that walkway along the side of the house because I think it kept it really, like it made the house look a little bit more, I don't know, like it kept that modern look on the outside, on the exterior. So instead what I did was I took upper cabinetry and built them from floor to ceiling, and it kind of created this, yeah, that built-in pantry look that I was looking for. And I just kind of scooted over the fireplace. There wasn't even enough room for a little end table, so I used little shelves underneath the windows as almost like the end table of the couches. So you got little plants and tissue boxes. And one other thing that I noticed was severely lacking in the base game were lamps, specifically modern lamps of any kind, or even just like simple lamps. Lots of like vintage looking lamps, and then like diamonds. Like, so I ended up going with like that Sim diamond lamp. Not my favorite. So if person downloading this and I had any other pack other than the base game, I would replace that lamp for sure. I used these, like I didn't want all the walls to look the same. So I used a dark blue in the living room space for the most part. And then I took this like white, technically it would be considered siding, and made it so that there was some texture elsewhere. I do believe I come back and end up using some brick possibly in the kitchen space to make it look like there's a backsplash. But I love, actually luckily my favorite stove and fridge are from base game, so I used those in this, and I used the brand new salt and pepper shaker that came with the holiday pack. Love those. So cute, so simple, and not like abnormally sized, I would say, because there's like another salt and pepper shaker that comes with, I think it's Cool Kitchen, and they're just like really large. So I thought those were like really nicely sized, as well as then there were like the fireplace pokers as well, which were in The Sims 3, so I'm really glad they're back. So I did end up putting those over by the fireplace as well. I got my cute little aprons that ended up matching the living room and the kitchen with that blue-white theme. I take a whole bunch of base game plants and clutter up the corner. And then another super frustrating thing for base game, curtains. Oh my goodness. There are just not, as it is, there's not many good curtains. I have talked about that before. And I am begging the Sims team, turn curtains into a slider option so that you can slide it left and right and wider and up and down, so it can go on really tall windows, really short windows. It would be such a game changer, because the curtains are just a mess as it is, but base game curtains are like the lowest of the low. So I really struggled with that. But I came back to my living room and I'm just like cluttering up like a little office nook type thing. I used a regular table because there are no small desks in base game. So like ones I would use probably from like Tiny Living or Parenthood, I couldn't use. So I ended up using like a small table, and that worked out pretty well to fit in that corner, because I really wanted that corner to be like my office space. I, in the bedroom, went with a really like bold, oh yeah, and I did put the brick like I was talking about in the kitchen to give a little bit more texture. But in the bedroom, I really wanted to go with this like bold dark blue that I had found. I really love the bold dark blue typically, so I went with the dark green. Sorry, I don't know if I said that. And so that dark green look, and I thought it looked really nice. So here I am in the bathroom using that trick that I found, or so I shrink down the dishwasher so it creates this effect of like no counter, like cabinetry, but there's still the countertop. And then I was trying to figure out what exactly I wanted below it, because I really did want the garbage can, but you know, it's a little wider than I anticipated. So I found a little stool in debug, and I used the post in debug as well and sized them down so it looks like little legs and the counter kind of connects to the sink, which I love. I'm going to definitely do that again. It creates a really neat look. So here's that dark green look that I really wanted to go for. I end up creating kind of like a walk-in closet type thing. I don't know. Actually, no, it's like a built-in closet type thing. And I really wanted the headboard to be a little different than the one that was in base game, since there's not many options. So I used some chairs from base game to like line the top of the headboard. Almost looked like an upholstered bed frame. So, and then I make this closet, like I said, and it looks like built-in dresser. So it touches all the walls. I had one of these growing up and in an older house, and they're pretty common in older homes, but not so much in newer homes, probably just because of the cost and the manual labor and the fact that you can't move them after they're in there. So, but I like the look of how that turned out, and I get some modern. That's the one modern light that there is. So I couldn't use it in the living room though, because there was not a big enough end table that could fit there, and the little shelves worked out. But this is probably my favorite base game home that I've done, and it flowed so well. Like, what I mean by that is it didn't take hours to complete and like me struggling. Yeah, it was a struggle for sure, and like frustration because I wanted to put really cute items from other packs, but I like design wise it made sense to me. The only part that I thought a little bit more on was the backyard, because it is such a beautiful large backyard, and for base game, I feel like I've said that word 1,000 times in this video, but it's just such a large backyard, and there's not as many like hobbies and activities to do. So I kind of created like a little cook space and seating, created a really neat like textured walkway right there, and just kind of got dirt where it needed to go. But anyways, I want to thank you so much for watching my videos. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this base game build. Subscribe if you'd like to see more, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.